For some time now, the state of Uttar Pradesh has been in news for all the wrong reasons. On Sunday, news broke out from Lakhimpur Kheri that as many as 8 people have been killed during a protest by farmers against the 3 farm laws passed by the Modi government. 4 farmers were run over by Union Minister Ajay Mishra's convoy, claimed the Bharatiya Kisan Union. Protest leaders demanded that the minister's son be arrested for allegedly driving one of the cars. Mishra said that the vehicle was overturned because the protesters threw stones at it, causing the driver to lose control.
उपद्रवी तत्वों ने इस तरह से पत्थरबाजी की जिसके कारण वहां पर वो गाड़ियां रुक गईं और गाड़ियों से फिर निकाल करके कार्यकर्ताओं को हमारे लाठी डंडों और तलवारों से पीट करके उनकी हत्या की गई.
After this, he claimed 2 BJP workers and the driver of the car were lynched. The 8th victim was the local journalist Raman Kashyap. As shocking as the event of Sunday were, more was to follow. The Uttar Pradesh government did not respond to this violence with the aim of establishing justice. Instead, it attempted to shut down democratic expression in order to prevent possible political losses to the ruling BJP. On Monday, as Samajwadi Party chief and former state chief minister Akhilesh Yadav was about to leave Lucknow to visit Lakhimpur Kheri, he was put under house arrest. Videos from his residence shows the area bristling with armed cops, a blunt clue as to how the Adityanath government intended to tackle the political crisis arising from the death in Lakhimpuri. In much the same way, Bahujan Samaj Party General Secretary Satish Chandra Mishra found himself detained at home by the police. The Uttar Pradesh police did not stop there. They attempted to seal off Lakhimpur Kheri. The Aam Aadmi Party's Sanjay Singh found his journey to Lakhimpur cut short by police in Sitapur, about 46 km away.
एक सांसद को आप किस वजह से यहाँ रोक रहे हैं?
Dramatic visuals of the police stopping the Congress's Deependra Hooda and Priyanka Gandhi also made their way to social media, showing that the police was not afraid to manhandle Hooda even though he is a Rajya Sabha MP. Gandhi's angry argument that she and her 3 colleagues were not violating Section 144 of the Criminal Procedure Code, which bans 5 or more people from assembling, fell on deaf ears. She soon found herself detained as well. Later on in the day, the Deputy Chief Minister of Punjab was himself detained, with Uttar Pradesh writing to Punjab government explaining that it had banned anyone from Punjab itself from entering the district of Lakhimpur Kheri under Section 144. This is possibly the first time in the history of Indian Union that the people of an entire state have been barred from an area. This quarrel contradicts the fundamental right that all Indians are free to move throughout the country. This is of course hardly the first time that Adityanath government has ignored the law in order to crush democratic protest. Last September, Uttar Pradesh reached for this same playbook when a Dalit teenage girl was raped and murdered in Hathras. In that case, not only were opposition leaders detained, but so was the family of the victim. The police forcibly cremated the corpse of the victim, presumably to defuse the possibility of tragedy of becoming a center of political opposition in the manner of Nirbhaya gang rape protest in Delhi in 2012. Those protests severely weakened the United Progressive Alliance government. Protesting crime is a core part of any democracy. Law and order cannot be an excuse to shut down political activity that would embarrass the government. In 2008, for example, even as the Mumbai terror attack was underway, Narendra Modi, who was Gujarat Chief Minister at that time, addressed a press conference to attack Manmohan Singh's government. Modi was not stopped from entering Maharashtra, even though it was obviously his visit would be politically damaging to the ruling party.
मैं आज मुंबई आया हूं.
India's democracy backsliding has been discussed for several years now. In March, Swedish-based Varieties of Democracy Institute held that India was no longer a fully democracy and had instead turned into electoral autocracy. The Bharatiya Janata Party, it said, now closely resembles a typical governing party in an autocracy. Nothing better exemplifies this than the last 5 years of Adityanath government in Uttar Pradesh. Adityanath does not just flout democratic conventions, but has often made rule-breaking a virtue by often boasting about using violence against protesters. Indian democracy is of course best exemplified by its election, which remain largely free and fair, However, by themselves, elections are not sufficient for democracy. If Adityanath places such draconian curbs on the very functioning of any political opposition using state machinery, it denies each party a level playing field at the ballot box, vindicating experts who have been ringing alarm bells over Indian democracy backsliding.